your cameras off, but hopefully we won't have to do that. It's just so great to see all of you here. Go ahead and talk. Just unfortunately, I've got that morning smoker's cough, and I don't smoke, so I don't know. Pardon that little growl that's in my voice. I'm not angry with anyone. So it's a good morning. It's good to see all of you here. It's exciting to be going back to school in whatever format that looks like. And this whole pandemic has just completely rocked our world. It's changed us in so many different ways, and it's caused us to stretch our boundaries in so many different directions. And you know, I have had all of you in my thoughts for so long, and I've got so much admiration for what you do and for how you're handling this situation. There's just so many great things that are happening in spite of this issue, the situation that we find ourselves in. And I just appreciate each one of you for rocking it through this and setting the example for others to follow. You know, it was kind of like when all of this hit, it became one of those situations where they were turning to the career tech teachers for guidance, because you guys had the experience with technology, you were more comfortable with online platforms, and you guys really became the experts in many cases in many of your schools. And so way to go. Kudos go out to you. I know this is going to be one of the most challenging years of all for you probably, and I feel that you are up to that challenge. So I'm wishing you all the luck and making sure that you understand where all your resources are as far as what we can help you with, and hopefully what we share today is going to be something that will be helpful to you as you continue through this year. There's going to be a lot of information. Just warning you up front, there's a lot of information that's going to be coming to you. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay. Just making sure you guys can see my screen. Can everyone see that screen? Okay, great. So there's going to be a lot of information that's coming across to you in this morning in a fast and furious pace, and I apologize for that. And but the main thing that I want you to understand is that all of this information, this presentation itself, I tried to make everything be linked for you so that you can go back and take a slower look and actually go in and look at some of these things more specifically. This presentation is in the platform. It's in the Next Thought platform that for you to download. And so please go out and pull that down and spend some more time with it later and take a closer look. So to start off with, just make sure that everyone knows we are recording this session. All of our sessions will be recorded and you will be able to see them back later. So I just want to start with that. As you have questions, please type those into the chat area. The BMITE staff will be watching those chat conversations that are going on and trying to answer any questions that are coming up. I probably won't have time to stop during the presentation and answer those questions. So but if there's anything that comes across that we didn't get answered, we'll make sure to follow up and get that answered for you. We will be saving the chat window as well, so you can, any resources that are included there, you'll have access to that too. So we want to be as open as we can and share whatever is helpful to you. One of the things we're really interested in is when are you starting school, and what is the format that you'll be going back to? So are you starting all virtual? I know many of you are starting in that way for a certain period of time and then trying to go back on site. Are you going on site to start with, and then, or is it some kind of a combination of the two? You know, once again, I just go back to, my heart goes out to you for having to prepare so many different types of lesson plans to be prepared, for so many different directions that this school year could take. But if you would take a moment and include that in the chat, we're interested to go back and look at that. So just want to share with you, I'm so excited. So Paxton, so she's our artist and she does all this artwork for us, and she's so brilliant at this. But we have gone a complete year, and this is the same staff. This is the same staff I introduced to you last year. Oh my goodness, what is going on? I'm so happy. So this is our staff. So me, of course, and then I work with Region 1. Jackie works with Region 2, and she also works with the Business Management Administration Cluster. Kathy is our Region 3 specialist, and she works with the Marketing and the Finance clusters. And Christy is Region 4, and she works with the IT cluster. And Paxton is our, she's our on-site technical guru that handles all of our backstage producing of all of our Zoom sessions and everything. And she's also our resident artist that takes care of all of our artwork. But more specifically, she is our BPA and our DECA state advisor. And then Pamela Porter, many of you know Pam from when she used to be a teacher in our program at Perry. She is our administrative assistant, and she is the one that you get most of our communications from. And she's the friendly voice on the phone when you call our office. And during this time when we've all been teleworking from the office, Pam has been also trying to manage all of the phones, the calls that come into the office. They're all routed to her phone, and she takes care of those and disperses those out. So thanks to Pam. So just a quick screen to show you those regions. If you're not sure what region you're in and which one of the program specialists comes around to your region, this map kind of helps you figure out which area you're in. The green dots, by the way, across this map are the technology centers. So this is a helpful map. And then I just want to say welcome to all of our BMITE new teachers. This was a different year for us as well. We moved our Teacher Academy to a virtual format, and Paxton did a great job of capturing day 1 and day 2, the screens of the teachers that were participating. So welcome. What a crazy year to start out in and to become a teacher and be a part of Career Tech. But we wish them all the best, and if you get a chance, you might want to reach out to them. If you can see those screen names, I know they're really tiny, but if you know of any of those individuals and get an opportunity, please welcome them. We would normally say stand up. So all new teachers, wherever you are, if you will stand up in your seats, and we just want to say welcome, and we hope that you have a really great year. So just really briefly on the summit and the format that we're looking at. Of course, yesterday was day 1, and it was, we were asking you to participate as you normally would. They had a lot of really good sessions, and they recorded all of those. So you will have access to those recordings for 3 months. So if there's something that you want to go back out and look at there, I know all of you love Corinne. She did a couple of amazing sessions, as she always does. And then I don't know if any of you got a chance to listen to Crystal Washington's presentation. A lot of really good resources there. And I know the others were great too. I plan to go back and listen to a lot of them that I wasn't able to get to, but those I know were good because I got an opportunity to listen in on those. So if you didn't listen to those, you might want to go back and do that. Day 2 today, a little bit different since we're doing virtual. We're asking you to get 6 hours, a total of 6 hours of PD for this day. But we also recognize that the format being the way it is, you may not be able to get all of your 6 hours in today. So there's a window of time from July the 1st through September the 30th, where there's a lot of professional development opportunities that Jackie has put together for your agenda. So you can go in and watch any of those to get up to your 6 hours. And we hope you actually find that there's more than that you want to look at. That's the beauty of this type of format, is that you can go in and look at all of them, where before, that was one of the complaints that we would get a lot, is I don't have time to get to all of them. There's so many there, I wanted to see them all. So now you can go in and you can just watch all of them that you want to watch. So that's awesome. And once again, these sessions, the links to the live sessions today are in that Next Thought conference platform where you got the link for today's session. And then Jackie has included links to all of the other recorded sessions as well. So you can get to that agenda where you can then find the links to all of these sessions. And then something a little bit different, you know, normally you would fill out that the verification form to confirm your participation in all of the conference activities. This year it is it's an online form for you. So once you get all of your 6 hours for today, then we would ask for you to go back in and complete this participation form, listing out what all that you did for day 1 and day 2. Okay. BPA and DECA. Now you'll notice that today there are a couple sessions, one for BPA and one for DECA. And certainly those are coming from the national staff that are providing those. Those are going to be some really awesome presentations. So don't miss those two. And then she's also going to be conducting some her update sessions that she would normally be doing today. She's going to be doing those on the 17th for BPA and DECA. So you won't want to miss out on those. And then she's got a 2-hour session that she's going to be doing on September 2nd for BPA, how to BPA all day from August to May. And then for DECA, it's Make Your School Year DECA Amazing. And that's from 3 to 5. So you won't want to miss out on those. Those are some great opportunities actually for BPA and DECA expanded on what we normally do. So that's great. One of the things that I just want to encourage you to remember.
Okay, I got it. Bye-bye.
Okay, background. Make sure your mic is muted, please, if you don't have a muted mic there. Thank you. So you just want to make sure that your BPA and DECA chapter is in good standing. And something that we really want to reinforce is the fact that it is not co-curricular. I mean, it's co-curricular, I'm sorry, it's co-curricular, it's not extracurricular. So it should be things that are integrated into your curriculum. And so when you're working with your administration and you're talking about extracurricular activities and they lump BPA and DECA in with extracurriculars, it's not extracurricular, it's co-curricular. It's included in your curriculum, it's integrated in. So we're happy to have that conversation with anyone that you feel like we need to have that conversation with. And part of that is developing that program of work with your officer team that shows that everything is integrated into everything that you're doing in your classrooms. So, and you're going to learn more about all of that when you spend some time with the national staff and then with Paxton later in the year. So just some quick program information that I always like to share as far to show you where we are. Numbers wise, we're about the same. We have 279 K-12 programs, 157 tech center programs, and I should say right now it's kind of in flux. Programs are being moved around and changed, and so that's a pretty close number though. And then for DECA chapters, BPA chapters, we have 331, and DECA chapters, we have 36. Just had some screenshots here of pictures of some of the programs instructors have shared with us and things that are going on with their program. So I just want to throw a few of those pictures in there for you. K-12 funding, program funding. This is kind of the disappointing slide. So unfortunately, due to the state budget situation, there were some cutbacks, of course, and we felt those cutbacks at the agency, and part of that results in lowered funding for the K-12 program. So it's not too bad. It's just disappointing that it had to happen. So we're less than 1,000 on the BITE programs. I mean, it's like I said, it's disappointing, but it is what it is. Hopefully we'll be able to get that back up soon when things return to normal. But the program funds for BITE programs are $12,933 for this next year, and for marketing programs, 6,227. And then the salary supplement did stay the same. It did not go back down. So it's 2,200 for your salary supplement. Technology centers are funded completely differently. They're based on tax millages and local funds. And there is some flow through money that goes to the technology centers from the agency that is put into a formula based on their local district situation and that kind of thing. So completely different funding for a tech center. And then of course, lottery grants. Don't forget to apply for the lottery grants. For the high schools, it's a $15,000 lottery grant. You can't get it 2 years in a row, but certainly, you know, if you get it 1 year, wait a year and apply again. It's a competitive grant. There's several that apply, but we usually are able to fund several different lottery grants. So don't hesitate to apply for those grants. And then for tech centers, it's done completely differently as well. Those are larger amounts, and they're usually done more of a school-wide type, or multiple programs are folded into their grant request. So there's fewer grants given for tech centers, but they're larger amounts. So the total amount given to both tech centers and to high schools is the same. It's just distributed differently. Oops, went too far. And then Perkins, Carl Perkins money. Most of you have some Carl Perkins money that's flowing through to your schools. That's federal monies distributed through our agency. And K-12 schools, for example, have a already set amount that they are allotted if they apply for it, and they're granted that money, the use of that money, but the amount's already set forth. And so, you know, depending on how many programs you have and what your population, there's a lot of factors that go into figuring what that amount is. But many schools choose to consolidate their funds to come up with something that they're doing for multiple schools. But anyway, if you're not, you know, this might be a question to ask your administration, where's that Perkins money going? A lot of our programs get the benefit of Perkins funding. Some don't. Some choose to put it more into counseling activities or career tech. So it kind of varies, but they've also come up with other types of grants through Carl Perkins funding besides those regular Carl Perkins funding. So I just wanted to put those links here so that if you're interested or someone has questions about the Carl Perkins, you would be able to go out and direct them or yourself to find more information about that. So return to learn support. So there's a lot of things that have been happening to support your efforts as you're returning to learn in whatever format that looks like. I just wanted to share with you where you could find some more of that information and support from us or from other individuals. We started developing last spring the distance learning resources, and we pushed that out every week in the Monday Madness so that you would have access to that. There are just so many resources out there, it's almost overwhelming. But just know that we've got that out there. If we have time at the end, I'm going to come back and show you some of our CTU locations so that you feel comfortable with where to find that information. But I put the link in here just in case we can't get to that. So I've been working on with the other divisions, working on some back to school recommendations. And that's all it is. It's not, we're not mandating anything through these recommendations. We just wanted to provide some kind of a supporting document for you to maybe some guidelines that you hadn't thought of or some resources that you hadn't thought of. But we put together a document, and I've actually put a copy in the platform, the Next Thought platform, this BMITE Back to School recommendations. So if you want to go out and take a look at that, feel free. I know that Corey Gray, who is she's my supervisor, she works over all the state program areas. She's working on a master document to kind of compile all of this information together. And so that will be coming out to you as soon as she gets that put together. But just wanted you to know that document's out there, and you might want to take a look if it's something that you might be interested in as far as ideas for getting back to school. And then Monday Madness. please, please, please read your Monday Madness. I mean, there's a lot of information in there. You can kind of tell from the headings whether it's something that applies to your program or not. But there's so many opportunities, and that's our vehicle to get it out to you. That's the best way that we can think to put it all together and get it to you, instead of sending out millions of emails. And you still get quite a few, especially around conference times. But that's where you're going to find so many opportunities that you want to make sure that you don't miss something. That's where it's at. And so a lot of times we'll get emails from, and we love emails from teachers, but you know, a lot of times it's something that we just sent out in Monday Madness. So your first thought might be to look at Monday Madness, because everything you need might already be in there. So please read that each time. Let's see. Then the State Department of Education has a really good site where they've put together some educational technology trainings and resources. So I wanted to provide that to you here. They're doing some weekly webinars, trainings on technology that look really good. So I just wanted to include that in here so you could go out and take a look and see if that's something you might be interested in. And then the Georgia Department of Education, they have a really good site for virtual learning resources. And so I included that. That might be something you might want to look at. But also, yesterday, Corinne mentioned that California has done the same thing. They've got their virtual resources out there as well. So you might want to check into California's resources for virtual learning as well. So I was catching out of the corner of my eye, my phone was kind of starting to buzz there, just making clear that these back to school recommendations are due to the COVID situation and the learning restrictions that are happening and distance education challenges and that kind of thing. But this document is really specifically towards getting back in the classroom itself, and what are some things that you can do to make the classroom safer and have that environment support the COVID-19 restrictions. Okay. Just additional support for COVID-19 return to learn support sites. So I just wanted to include those. We have agency resources listed on our main site, and I wanted to include the links to that. And then there are other agencies as well that are providing different resources to help us stay informed. So I just wanted to put some of those resources all together on a slide so you have those links. So the next thing, if many of you will remember back, summer before last, we had or actually last summer, we had the industry futuring panels that came in, and we worked with CEO level type CEO level type people who were providing us with input and guidance over what is coming up in the future within their industries, and how employees need to be prepared for those changes that were coming into those industries. Having no idea, of course, that we were getting ready to face a pandemic, and our businesses would be facing something like they've never faced before, and new challenges and new issues. And so what I wanted to do then was follow up with them in the spring after this started hitting, and ask them some questions that would help us help you as you think about what things do you need to make sure that you're including with your instruction with your students, so that they are prepared for this type of situation. And so one of the questions that we asked them was, what would be beneficial? What should future employees know when they're experiencing this type of situation? And of course, a lot of it would be things that you would expect that they would come back and say: remote computer skills, time management, team building when the team isn't physically located together, critical thinking, basic computer setup and usage. I mean, you know, many people had to end up going home and had to set up their own computers and get everything functioning and working and being able to connect in remotely. So those become more important. Being able to be self-motivated and disciplined when working remotely, having that self-discipline to stay on task and work all day, and then online meeting platforms, of course. Another question was, I asked them, what was the biggest challenge your company faced? And some of the things that they shared was pivoting quickly to rapidly changing conditions, learning Zoom and other necessary remoting technologies, keeping morale up, keeping sales efforts up, how fast everything was changing and making sure everyone had the latest information and the policies, immediate constant response to SBA loans with no additional income for that additional work, public reaction and fears, communication, keeping everyone informed, and then events canceling. You know, we all experienced all sorts of events canceling and how that impacted our, you know, our own ring of people and situations that we're in. But, you know, when you think about it from the business side of it, you know, how that impacted them. And the other question was, what advice would they have for teachers to pass along to their students? And things like ability to adapt quickly to changing business conditions, expect the unexpected, be adaptable. You never know when your situation is going to cause you to pivot immediately. Stay informed and be flexible. Flexibility is the key. So you see a pattern here. Self-management is critical, and be flexible again. Utilizing any and all networking events. You may need to utilize someone for job inquiries, guest speakers, etc. You never know when a contact that you make might be someone that will help you down the road. So all good tips, things we probably all have already thought of, I would think. So next, we talked a little bit about CTU, and I've just got some screenshots here, and if we have time, like I said, we'll go back. But this would be the login screen when you first enter CTU, and you would select BMITE, which would take you to this area. One of the areas that we use the most is this BMITE Teacher Resources area that comes down here under Available Courses at the bottom of the screen. So when you go into BMITE Teacher Resources, this is the screen that you come to. And these are the different links to the different sections that we have into the resource area. I wanted to point out to you, we talked about the distance learning resources. You'll see that tab at the bottom. That's one that was added. That's a completely new section that's got so many resources in it. So you'll notice that you've got the breadcrumb right here underneath the title for BMITE Teacher Resources. And you'll see that I'm in the BMITE room and the BMITE Teacher Resources. And then this one's showing curriculum. If I picked, which I obviously had picked this when I did the screenshot, but the curriculum and programs area, that's where you're going to find all of our syllabi, the testing guides, the sequence of courses. That's a really important area. So if you're not familiar with that one, that's where you go download all of our syllabi. And then, so under the BMITE Teacher Resource, I'm gonna go back a screen, sorry. When you select the resources section, you can access then the alphabetic listing of our resources, and you'll notice along the right-hand side, there's a table of contents, and it goes, there's so many. Let me just tell you, if you've never been in this area, you're gonna be really amazed. There's so many different resources that have been added with links. Most everything in there is free. There are some that might cost a little bit, but most everything that we added in here are free resources that have been shared with us by teachers or vendors or whomever. But there's so many things out here in this area, in addition to those distance education resources that I showed you earlier. So definitely go out and take a look and see if there's something here that you might have a need for. Entrepreneurship, coding, there's so many different things here. The next thing is that we now have an OK BMITE YouTube channel, and that's where we're putting all of our resources, the video recordings that we're doing. Paxton is the maestro behind the scenes that's doing all of that for us. She's adding all of those videos to this area, and she'll be creating different playlists depending on what it's for. Our plan is to put these training sessions for Summit into different playlists, but we'll get that information out to you. What we have in there right now, some of these videos, by the way, are hidden behind you know, you have to have the actual link to get to them. And then some of them are just available to anybody that wants to listen to them. And these would be the ones that are public. And so Paxton put together this, here's a story. It's kind of like the Brady Bunch. It's a really neat intro to our division. These other videos that you'll see are new teachers every year. You'll remember back when you were a part of the Teacher Academy, we asked you to put together a project to promote your program or your BPA DECA chapter. And you did that in teams. And we wondered how we were going to do that, accomplish that. It's one of the most beneficial activities I think that we do, because it gives you a chance to work with other instructors and start working on your network. And but it also lets you work with technology. And what we found out was this year actually is the most appropriate time for us to be doing this activity, because it had to all be done virtually, which is what you may have to be doing with some of your students. And so they had to meet virtually to plan and put together their group's promotional videos. And there's some really clever ones. There's some really good ones. I think we even had what is the Exotic Joe Exotic. We had an appearance from him in one of the videos that was really funny. Some of them were funny, some of them were more serious, but all of them were really good. And so I don't think we've got all of them out there yet, but we've got most of them. We got eight groups. So if you get a chance, you might want to go take a look at that. When you go out to YouTube, just search for OK BMITE, and you should get there. The next big thing that we've been working on is redoing the sequence of courses. So we've been meeting for all year, basically, trying to figure out how to make it more user-friendly and understandable and more relevant to what you're doing, and not be, you know, I don't even know how many pages it was. Just the IT cluster alone, we had probably 15 pages of options for you to do. So what I want to make clear, though, as we tried to consolidate these down and reduce the number of outcomes that we had for each cluster area, we did it very thoughtfully, and we did it with the understanding that at the technology centers, you still have the ability to veer off of this and add courses or swap out courses if you feel like that's what needs to happen, or create your own sequence based on, you know, what you think is best. You can still do those things. The thing we ask you to do, though, is that this document is really critical for alignment purposes. When you're looking at our programs that are in the K-12 area and trying to make sure that they are aligning their courses in a sequence that makes sense, that leads into what you're doing at the tech center. So if you're going to veer off of this, definitely that communication line needs to be open between your sending schools. They need to know what you're doing, and you need to know what they're doing, so that you can advise students appropriately, and they can get those prerequisite courses to move on into yours. And it just makes sense to have that communication. So having said all of that, I just want to kind of lead you through and show you what we've done. We're not going to look at every one of these. I'm just going to show you generally, and then you'll be able to go back and look. I did put the actual PDF of this in the Next Thought platform, so you can download it from there and take a look at it then more specifically. But you'll notice this first one. This is the business management cluster, and each of the pathways are in this kind of burnt orange color. And then within the administrative support pathway, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different state program areas. So the first state program area is administrative support, and within administrative support, there are 3 outcomes. So you may currently already be doing, for instance, administrative assistant. These would be then the sequence of courses, and we're going left to right now. As you read on a page, going left to right rather than top to bottom. People were having trouble with you know, which direction are we supposed to follow when we look at your sequence of courses. Now it makes sense. We've got them numbered here. So the first course in the sequence is Fund of Tech, ending with the Career Capstone course. And then over here along the right-hand column, these are additional course options. Now, can you do more than what's in that additional course option list there? Of course, you can come up with something that makes sense locally for your area to add in that. But these are just some suggestions that might fit into these different pathways or these different sequences that we have outlined here. So, so hopefully that makes a little more sense. Now, as you look through these 3 options, you know, which one would you want to be teaching in your area? And these would be the courses then. You'll notice some of them still have, for instance, on the third course here, you could actually do Admin Tech 2, or you could substitute in, or you could teach advanced database concepts using Access. So you know, you can work with that and see what you think. So the next pathway is human resources management, and there's just one sequence that goes with that one program area, and one sequence that goes with that. And then general management and business information management. For the most part, it's going to be very similar, very similar to what you had before, but there may not be, instead of having 6 options, there may just be 2 or 3. So we tried to condense those down into a sequence that made sense. Now, what we're going to ask is, we're going to ask for your input, as we always do. We want to know what you think about this. We want to get your ideas. You know, are we off track? Are we, did we miss something? Those are the things that we'll look at when we meet together with our advisory groups. So, so we're still going to get input. So this is a work in progress, but this is what we've done so far. So this would be the finance cluster. There's still the 4 pathways within the finance cluster, and then the program areas and options for there. And then information technology. This is probably the one where we condensed more than anywhere, because there were so many different options for very similar outcomes. And so we tried to condense them as much as we could. And you know, we definitely need some help with this cluster area, making sure we got this right. And when I say we, you know, it's my staff, but my staff was also working with teachers that they communicate with frequently in a lot of these areas too. So they were trying to get input from teachers as well, as they tried to come up with these new sequences, or revised sequences, I guess how I should put it. So this is the information support services and the web and digital communications pathways. The web and digital communications is the biggest one, and it does move on to the next. My pictures keep getting in the way. It does move on to the next page. There's several more options there for web and digital communications. And then I wanted to point out, oh, I need to go back to that marketing now, so I think I missed the IT. That's what it was. I'm sorry. Okay, where am I missing it? There it is. Oh, yeah, I didn't miss it. I just got ahead of myself. So one of the new areas that we did add is in the programming area. And you'll notice this one at the bottom, this computer science prep outcome. This is one where if you're teaching computer science, a lot more and more of you are starting to teach programming. And many of those are AP related courses. And so we wanted to put together a pathway that would help show that it really leads into college. It's not, I mean, you could exit out at this one and get a job at this point, but it's really designed more for college entrance and going into the computer science area. So I wanted to point this one out to you because it is new. And then in the marketing area as well, there was a new addition, and it is for customer experience manager. So Kathy's been working and trying to put this together and what makes sense with courses that we already had. But this may definitely be an area that needs to be expanded and changed. This is an area that directly resulted from the industry featuring panels. It was something that they indicated was really important these days. Everything is about the customer experience, and certainly that has come about lately as we have faced the situation that we're in, where we're having to order a lot of things online or do a lot more things virtually. So it's all about having that good experience, and what better place for that to be than in the marketing cluster. So Kathy has reached out and talked with some of the marketing teachers, and they felt like this was good, but it may need some tweaking. We don't know. So this is a work in progress, but just wanted you to know this was a new one that's been added in the marketing cluster area. I'm trying to keep track of the time here. I know we've got a lot more information left to give to you, so I don't want to rush, but I want to make sure that you get the information. Some of the other changes that we've had include fundamentals of tech. That was a big one this year. So Kathy took this one on, and she had a really large group of volunteers that helped her with this. And I think you're going to like what you see. If you haven't had an opportunity to look at Fund of Tech, it's been reduced by about a third or 2/3. It's about a third as big as what it used to be. So it's not just pages after pages of those competencies. It's still aligned with IC3, and it just makes more sense, and it's more relevant. Everything that, if it wasn't in IC3, we wanted to add those competencies that were we felt like were really important, that need to stay in there. We took some of the input from the industry featuring panels as well, and added those to Fund of Tech, but it's still, keep in mind, it's still a broad level exposure to all of this information. It's not a deep dive into anything. It's just touching on a lot of the things that we feel like any student should be aware of that has to do with technology. So in the process of that, the State Department, the ODCTE exam, our testing division set in on all of that, and they are redeveloping the exam for this course based on these new competencies, and they've asked for help in creating that exam. So I encourage you to go out and take a look at the training video that Kathy did earlier this summer, and that's located on our YouTube channel, but you have to have the link to get to it. One of the things too, I want to make sure that you understand, the exam, the testing division does not want to have two different Fund of Tech exams. They just want one exam. So ultimately it will be the new exam. If you don't feel comfortable with that, if you want your students to continue this year to test on the old exam, then you'll need to let Kathy know by September 15th, and we'll work with the testing division for just your school to be able to test on the old test. So the default will be, if you ask for the test from the State Department, the default will be the new test. So if you still want to test your students on the old test, you can do that, but we need to work with the testing division to make sure they open that up, and that's what you're offered whenever you request the test. Marketing Fundamentals is on the radar this year as well. It's been a while since Marketing Fundamentals has been updated. So Kathy's going to be tackling that one and looking for some volunteers for that committee as well. Jackie's been working hard with the medical office group for the past couple of years, actually, to redevelop those courses and those course competencies based on the new systems that are out there. So they've been working hard to get that done. I think they're really close to having that ready to go. And then, of course, we've updated all of the testing guides and the syllabi, and that's an ongoing work in progress. But you should be seeing out in CTU the newer, updated, if there was any updates to be made in those guides and the syllabi. Okay, and just real quickly, Corey Gray asked me to pass this along to you. There is going to be a new cluster, a 17th cluster for Oklahoma, and it's the energy cluster. And the energy cluster, I think, will be managed in the IT area, or not the IT, but the T&I, with the T&I division. However, there's a lot of jobs in the energy cluster that would fall within our, with something that you would be teaching. So you'll see more information about this. We'll be providing a flyer for it. Actually, this flyer is in the platform, the Next Thought platform. If you wanted to take a closer look at it, you can download it from the platform, but we'll be sharing more information about this as well. So this is a biggie. You may have heard that we've been working with the Brain Bench. It's no longer Brain Bench. It's SHL Talent Central. So we heard you, and they finally heard us, that we've been really, really frustrated with BrainBench and the BrainBench testing and how outdated they were and irrelevant, and the lack of connection with anyone, being able to get support for things that were happening and updates to us to be able to pass along to you. So finally, there's been multiple changes within their organization. They've transitioned through several different takeovers, and now they've landed with SHL Talent Central. And we have a new representative, and we've been meeting with them. Initially, we were meeting with them every week and getting everything off our chest. I mean, they were really good to listen to us and understand how frustrated we've been. And our new representative is Austin Larson, and he's implementing. He's listening to us, and he's making changes to make this contract better for you and for us. So they've acquired a new testing platform called Talent Central, and it's replaced BrainBench, which they actually acquired that a couple of years ago, but they left us on this BrainBench platform with these old tests. So what you're going to find is there's new tests, and it's a new platform. It looks different. It feels different. There's new pricing involved. It's now going to be $550 per PID number. They're going to renew those contracts each year, and it'll be based on the fiscal year. They have gone in and they've crosswalked all of our tests that we already have approved and we're using on our syllabi. They crosswalked those for us to the new tests on the new platform. So the team has been working really hard to get in there and take that crosswalking and update the syllabi and the testing guides. And once and identify any gaps, if there's any gaps or if there's any tests, additional tests that we need to replace something else. So we're finishing that part up. Once we get that all finished up, then we'll provide that to our testing division, and they'll swap out those tests that have been replaced by these new Talent Central tests. So they've actually put together some training, and I encourage you to go out. They've recorded these for us. We'll have these out on our YouTube channel. You'll be able to access these, but these are the specific links. I encourage you to go out and look at the intro video. There's going to be a new contract, a new way of signing your contracts with them. It's going to be on this whole new Talent Central platform. It's going to be organized by regions. So you'll sign into your regional platform for Talent Central, and so everything's different. The way you administer your tests, the way you access the test, the way you download the test, everything is different. But they're trying to make it intuitive, and they've created these videos to help you as you get to these next steps and start wanting to do your testing. These are short videos that you can go back in and review. So we're really excited. We hope we're anxious to hear feedback from you once you start testing your students, what you think of this new platform, and if in fact it's better. But Austin seems very accessible, and there's a contact there that they have for just regular issues that you have with accessing, but problems or issues that you have, he's accessible and he's willing to help you get going. So we're excited and hopeful, anxious that this works. Data collection, I won't spend a lot of time on this. There's no real changes except for, last year I told you that we were going to be collecting new data for this past year. Well, then who would have thought COVID-19 interrupted all of that? Most of you weren't able to do testing. Some of your community service activities got cut off, all of them, once this hit. And then work-based experiences became really limited because certainly you couldn't do any on-site type things. But this is still, in our agency goals. And one of the things that they're coming up with, and they've actually asked me to sit in on the review of a new platform for work-based learning experiences that's going to roll out. We have a new work-based learning coordinator at the agency, and there's a new website out there. that's one thing I probably didn't put in here, was that new location on our website for those work-based experiences. I know we've put it in Monday Madness a few times, so I know it's been out there. But one of the things that we're still going to want to do is collect community service hours that you put in with your students, and then work-based learning experiences. So as we get those tools put in place to be able to collect that information, we'll get that to you, and still plan to do that. And then the testing for your students, that's the other piece that we weren't able to collect. We told you that now we're going to be asking you to provide all of your testing data for all of your students, not just your seniors. So any testing that has been done by all of your students will be submitted through the follow-up process. And there's a new learning guide to help you understand how you put that information in. So the bottom line is, keep track of your testing data. Make a spreadsheet where you are collecting all the results and keeping them all in one place, so that when it comes time to do your follow-up, you can just go in and add in that test data. So this is another new area that I was hoping to show you, but obviously I'm not going to have time to get in there. But we've got a new data person that started working on this past year, and it's on our website. It's under our career tech system. You go to, if you look at the breadcrumb here, when you log in, go to About, Career Tech System, and then Interactive Data, which you can't see it. It's at the bottom down here, the Interactive Data. But this is live data. So you can actually go in if you want to know if you are if you're looking for a tech center program. You want to go find out what Autry Technology Center, for example, is offering on their campus. You could actually go into this link here, State Programs by Tech Center District and Campus, and you could find out exactly what they're offering there at Autry Tech, what they reported that they were offering. The same goes in the K-12 schools. What are the career tech programs that are located in the school district? So when you go in here, you can pull up any school district. So you could pull up Ada, for example, and then you could go over and you could see what are all the career tech programs that they offer, and then what pathways do they have, and what courses are they offering. Really good information, especially when you're trying to do alignment or figure out, you can figure out what district you're a part of. For example, this Tech Center feeder school district, if I'm at Ada and I want to know, am I in a Tech Center district? You can go in here and find out where are the feeder schools, the K-12 schools that feed into that technology center. So if you're not sure what Tech Center district that you're in, if you're a feeder school, and then what they offer at that school, this is where you would go to find that information out. Some really good information. Fast facts, those are the things that we put together in those little pull-out brochures that show the number of programs that we have, the number of teachers, and all of those kind of things. So a lot of really good information here. I encourage you to go out and take a look. Really good stuff. PD. So, we pushed out the Career Tech Master Educator. We have a professional development division at the agency, and this is one of the newest things that they've added over the past year, this Master Educator program. This is all free training for you, and there's some really good stuff out there. I'm telling you, you can almost any topic you could think of is you can look it up and it's in there. So there's short sessions, there's longer sessions, there's series of information in there. LinkedIn Learning is a part of this. The lynda.com stuff is a part of this. So encourage you to go out there. There's a lot of distance learning opportunities, training opportunities you can look at there. Safety training out there. Just a lot of really good stuff, and it's free. So if you haven't gone in and checked that out, I encourage you to do that. And then, of course, the Career Tech Teacher Academy, the 2 follow-up days, one on the 15th and one on the 28th. And I believe they've got the 15th. It is opened up. So this is a requirement for all new career tech teachers, but it's also a really valuable training for just anyone. So if you want to participate in, if the agenda looks like something you would be interested in, certainly encourage you to enroll in that. And then, of course, our website. has a lot of, we have professional development listed opportunities on our website. And now we've got the YouTube channel where we're posting these videos, the training videos. Some of them, like I said, are protected, they're private. Like the SHL Talent Central videos, they did not want those to be public. So you have to actually have the link to get to those. You can't just search for those. And then of course, Monday Madness. We try to put any new opportunities that we come across that you might be interested in, try to include that in Monday Madness. The Conclave 2020 MBA Research. It's virtual this year, of course, and we want to encourage anyone who's interested in going to that. Certainly go, we would encourage you to go. We have 2 teacher advisory network representatives that serve on the MBA Research Network, and that's Katrina McDowell from High Plains and Andrea Long at Northwest Tech. And their term, it's a 3-year term that they sign up for, and it goes through June 2021. So next summer, their terms will end. They represent us on this MBA research group. And I think if you ask either one of them, they would tell you that this is one of the best conferences that they've been to. We had a really good representation last year of teachers that went this year and said the same thing. The thing that they do so well with MBA Conclave is the connection with industry. They have so many good industry representatives and speakers that come from bigger companies. Depending on where the conclave is located, they try to go local with those industry leaders. I mean, last year we had a group from Kentucky Fried Chicken, and gosh, I'm going to go blank now that I've started listing. But really good presentations, really good practical information. We got a lot of good information out of that, and it's fun too. So certainly if you've never been a part of MBA Conclave, going to that conference, really good, especially for business management, administration, and marketing, entrepreneurship areas. That's where you're going to have a lot of representation there. But there was so much, they share so much technology-wise as well that's relevant to anyone. So really good conference, just want to pass that along. And then our teacher advisory committee that we have every year, this next year, it will be on October the 21st. If you're interested in being a part of our teacher advisory committee, I would definitely encourage you to come. It's good for new teachers, it's good for veteran teachers, but it's your time to have a voice in the instructional framework, and the testing will be reviewing those sequence of courses. It's your opportunity to ask us some questions and learn about critical issues that are coming up. And most importantly, the networking with other teachers. Your opportunity to talk to teachers who are teaching the same thing that you are, and what they're doing, how they're doing it. So great opportunity. I encourage anyone who wants to participate to sign up. It's good information. Teacher certification specialist. If you have questions about your teacher certification and you need assistance with that, if you do not have business education or marketing education on your teacher certification, you probably need to be having a conversation with Laurie Richardson to figure out how she can help you get where you need to be. So I just wanted to put her picture and her contact information up for anyone who needs help with their certification. And finally, talking about our communication methods, Monday Madness. Once again, I can't say loud enough, long enough. That's where you'll get your information. That's really important. That's where we put everything. So certainly don't throw it away. Keep a folder, put that information, put those emails and where you get that Monday Madness into that so that you can go back and reference it later if you need to. Follow us on Twitter at BMITE1. And Pam, every once in a while, has to send out specific emails we can't get into Monday Madness. Maybe it came out right after we sent it out, right after we sent out Monday Madness, and we get something that we know needs to go to get out as quickly as we can, and that's when you're going to get an email from Pam. So make sure that you're not throwing those away. And then, of course, our website has lots of information on both of those. And lastly, just have a great year. I mean, I know this, once again, is going to be one of the most challenging years potentially that you might have. And hopefully you've got the resources you need and you've got the network built up that you can work with, and know that you can contact us at any time, and we'll do whatever we can to assist you. If during these times and make it a great year for you as well. So from our Bite Me group, you know, as we like to call ourselves, we hope that you have a great year and know that you can ask us questions. You can come to us with your issues or problems, and we just wish you all the best. And we hope that you have a great day today. Thank you.
Carrie, before everyone leaves, I know it will take a few minutes, but if we can take some photos, we can put them all together as one big screen. We have about 380 people here today, so we can put everyone together if that's okay with you.
Oh, that would be amazing. So I will stop sharing my screen. So Paxton's going to do her thing again.
Okay, so everyone, if we're probably going to have to smile for about 2 minutes or so. There's about 16 screens that I'm going to take some screenshots of.
So turn your video on.
If you have that capability. If not, your name will show, so we'll know that you're there. And sadly, I can't tell you what screen you're on, so you're just going to have to
keep smiling.
Wait for your turn. Okay, is everyone ready? Jackie and Pam, do you want to turn your cameras on?
They missed.
There we go. Okay, everyone ready? And we'll start now.
So I am seeing a question in the chat asking, what do we need to do from here? Leave this meeting and then re-sign into the next one. That's correct. Yes, you will have to sign back in each time you go to a new session.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Have a great day, everyone. Great to see you all. Have a great year.